My name is Vanessa. I am from Kampala, Uganda, a country that has one of the fastest changing climates in the world. Historically, Africa is responsible for only 3% of global emissions, and yet Africans are already suffering some of the most brutal impacts fueled by the climate crisis. Rapidly intensifying hurricanes, devastating floods, and withering droughts. Many Africans have lost their lives, while countless more have lost their homes, farms, and businesses. The droughts and floods have left nothing behind for the people, nothing except for pain, agony, suffering, starvation, and death. I was asked to speak as a youth climate activist here at today's Berlin Energy Transition Dialogue. Brianna and I were initially each promised 5 minutes to make our remarks. The organizers of this event then cut our time to 4 minutes, then to 3.5 minutes. They also insisted on seeing the text of our speeches ahead of time. They also repeatedly instructed us not to name or shame leaders that would be taking part in this summit. You should not ask activists to come and speak at your events so you can feel better and then try to censor them. You should not slash the time you have promised them to tell their stories. It is the leaders who have failed us, not the young people. It is the leaders who have ignored the scientists and the science. It is the leaders who time and time again have failed to treat the climate crisis like a crisis. This is not naming and shaming. This is telling the truth. Why are you so afraid of hearing the truth? Did any of the political leaders speaking here today have to present their speeches for preview? Did any of them have their allotted speaking time cut by a third? And while people in Africa are suffering and dying on the front lines of the climate crisis, what is the main response from the leaders of the developed countries? More investment in fossil fuels. To the governments, banks, and investors who continue to fund the digging up and burning of fossil fuels in Africa. There is no future with the fossil fuel industry. Air pollution caused by the burning of fossil fuels, such as coal and oil, is responsible for killing almost 9 million people every year. And aside from the destruction you are causing, your investment does not even make financial sense. The International Energy Agency is predicting that $300 billion of fossil fuel assets will likely be stranded as the world wakes up to the threat of the climate crisis. The first rule when you find yourself in a hole is to stop digging. Many of the leaders gathered here today have received praise for announcing that humankind is facing a climate emergency. Now it's time for you to stop talking and start treating this crisis like a crisis. I ask each and every leader here today to stop censoring the voices of activists, to start listening to the scientists and the science, and stop investing in toxic fossil fuels now and immediately. We cannot eat coal and we cannot drink oil. Thank you.